can really determine how the match is going to play out. So let's jump right into this draft here. Team Spectre does have this first ban, and they're going to ban FaZe. We haven't really seen many. I mean, with the last 2 games we saw, FaZe wasn't banned out. So FaZe is going to be the first ban, and Arctic Wolves banning Rampage. Is that a targeted ban at Faded Ren? Does Faded Ren, who is Team Spectre's jungler, exceed on or excel on that hero? We're not going to find out this game. First pick, Decker, Shane, the queen of support.
She is the queen of supports, and I would say the all-reigning queen of Agora at this point in time. Again, her ultimate was changed, to say the least. The biggest thing about Decker's containment fence being changed is that it enables Narbash to have a little bit more liberal application of his ultimate if he's inside of it, but that's fairly situational. Nonetheless, Narbash can get a little bit more value when facing Decker. Playing Narbash into Decker always felt like a losing battle when it came to the support battle. The support powers that be. I think with that being said, Decker still, you hit the R button, you catch out people, you win a fight, you win the game. That's why you pick that hero. Her lane poke is pretty substantial as well. And of course, Stasis Bomb being the long-ranged crowd control ability that we've seen, players like Marty Rivia and Lucer play to such high level. There's a lot riding on Decker's shoulders. There's always is, and it's good to see her again here into the series.
Arctic Wolves very quickly picks up Moragesh and Lieutenant Bellica. Back over to Team Spectre, they pick up Twin Blast and Sevarog. And Arctic Wolves are going to pick up Grux and Revenant. So we're seeing a lot of Revenant Moragesh gameplay in the competitive league this weekend. So far, both solid lineups. You've got really good supports. We've got a good mid laner, possibly support Bellica. I'm not sure. We may see Muriel Narbash picked up.
The last pick, the last pick is going to be evident as to what that is.
So we've got We've got jungler, we've got carry, so we need a mid laner and an off lane here. We've seen a lot of Kwang off lane. We've seen a lot of Greystone off lane with Moragesh being picked up. I'm expecting a Greystone or a Kwang here.
Don't rule out my boy Feng Mao. He's still a very strong offlaner. Now, does he bring to the table what Spectre needs necessarily? Probably not. Sevarog really fills in that gap of backline penetration and kill potential onto these squishy heroes of Moragesh, Revenant, so on and so forth. There's their mid laner of Howitzer. Howitzer pretty much being the go-to mid laner after Bellica, with at least for most of the teams we've seen today. Obviously, Gideon being played by Nazgul. With that being said, I wonder if we're going to see more Gideon overall, or if Reborn, or is Gideon going to be one of those heroes that some teams are going to thrive with and some teams are not? We'll see as we get a little bit deeper into this weekend. I digress. Last pick is going to be Kwang, so just overall good offlaner, can deal with early tier 1 tower pushes, good lane sustain with the lifesteal and the on-demand damage mitigation. But more importantly, his main presence after the laning stages break apart is to tether Fury in and get a strong initiation into the backline of their opponent of Arctic Wolves.
So that leaves a support pickup here. I'm expecting a little bit more CC. I am expecting a Narbash pick. Muriel has not really been... Is rising. Muriel used to be your go-to support, but CC is so...
Please don't talk about that.
CC is so valuable now in T-play, and that's exactly who they're going to pick up. They're going to pick up the Narbash here. So really good, solid lineup for the side of Arctic Wolves and Team Spectre. Looking at these drafts, they both have good initiation. They have good peel. They have good CC. This is going to come down to the technical skill of both of these teams. Fatal Barrage on Grux is very scary to deal with. One of the things I would say is invade the crap out of this man, put him on the back line, and you can kind of mess up Fatal Barrage's rotations a bit. So, Shane, I don't know about you. I'm excited. Let's jump into this game. Let's see how Team Spectre fares against the returning Arctic Wolves.
These teams, they want to move themselves on. They want to get themselves to, if you will, Championship Sunday, because that's what tomorrow is going to be. I'm going to have the distinct pleasure and opportunity to allow you, Notch, to tell me who I am going to introduce.
You're going to introduce Team Spectre.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in blue is going to be Arctic Wolves. Fatal Barrage on Grux, Crazy Fool on Narbash. Taurino on Morgesh, Mr. Guru on Lieutenant Bellica, and Survivor on Revenant.
Over on the orange side of the map, we've got Faded Red.
Is an invasion from Arctic Wolf. Smash and grab onto 2 immediately. Sorry, Natch, I got to cut you short, but oh my, Decker almost immediately gets caught out. This is how you start a series right here. This is what I'm talking about. Both of the supports get isolated and taken out very early on, but who's going to take the first team fight? Barrage gets fatally taken apart, but at the same time, so does the Howitzer. Looks like Arctic Wolves maybe coming out of this ahead, and that's a statement right there. Both of these teams want to go at each other very, very quickly. Taurino was on the hunt. He's only level 1, as I hope he would be at this stage. And all right, we're off to a good series. We're off to a good series so far, Notch.
Well, that was incredibly aggressive. Let's go ahead and introduce Team Spectre. that one Malik on Twin Blast, Hill on Decker, Colombian Gamer HD on Quam, Itchy Heartache mid lane playing the Howitzer, and Faded Red in the jungle on Severog.
The series is already going really well. From like a casting point, from a team fight point, love it. It's so good.
Are we going to see
mid lane?
Mid lane, yeah. Shade the dual mid. We haven't seen this in a while, buddy.
So elaborate on. I'm trying to understand why Arctic Wolves are doing this right away.
Rotation.
It's always been about rotating to the early game objectives of the river buffs, but more so, I think Arctic Wolves expect them to do green buff invasions. I really expect them to do green buff invasions consistently until maybe a little bit later. I don't think this is a Raptor controlled duo mid lane. I think this is a green buff controlled duo lane. We'll see here as the green buff is going to be picked up here by Fatal very, very early, and Faded Ren not yet to transition over to that. Junglers really have their own style when it comes to rotations. Some like to get that green buff very, very early, back spin, and then look for gank. Some don't pick that green buff up until, after the river buffs have spawned. Right now, we already see distinctly different jungle styles coming out of each side of the field.
I like the Team Spectre answered this with rotating Hill and Malik over here to this. They just said, you know what? We're going to answer this with what duo mid lane is how we're going to do this. What this gives them is control and rotation. It opens up the river buffs. It opens up early game aggression onto the green. And at the 9-minute mark, Raptors. It takes you 17 seconds to traverse from mid lane to either one of the off lanes. So Survivor and Crazy Fool want to get aggressive. They have the ability to do that. The starting potential or the early game potential of Severog is much less than Grux. So they can be very aggressive in that jungle. Purple buff is up. Fatal Barrage is going to catch out Faded Red here. Faded Red's going to land that Subjugate, and Faded Red should be able to get away. But Fatal Barrage says, hey, thanks for your green buff, brother. I'm going to take this. And they have 2 there to do that. While Survivor's just going to farm in mid.
They're looking to maybe to contend this, but Faded going in with such little HP, you had to have known that Arctic Wolves were going to immediately disengage from the green buff, leash it back. It's not simply taking Spake. Your healers have to be in position and buffed up. You got to make sure your DPS has all the buffs that they need as well, and that's exactly what they did. Raid boss down. They get the first. I'm sorry, that's not the first kill of the game. That's the 7th kill of the game. I apologize.
And they are going to pick this up. So Fatal Barrage left this last little white minion standing here. And those of you wondering, hey, why did he get that card power? Because the green buff won't respawn until that minion dies. So that's just the dead green. That's just the non-existent green buff. But Fatal Barrage being aggressive, stealing a lot of the jungle's farm there, and they're continuing to push this tier 1 tower, Shane. So 4 minutes into the game, 7 deaths. Fatal Barrage.
Oh, here comes Fatal. Green buff, smash and grab, but the stasis bomb on the Survivor forced him back. If it wasn't for that stasis bomb doing the damage, but more importantly, allowing the minions to do a little bit damage onto Revenant, onto Survivor, then that could have been some kill potential, but nonetheless, it's a 2v2 in mid lane. Here comes Fatal. I'm sorry, here comes Faded. Fatal and Faded, the caster's challenge. He doesn't land the Subjugate, but he has to finish off Survivor here. The heals from Crazy Fool, he's trying to do what he can, but he runs out of mana. No more heals coming out from the Song of My People, and they pick up a very important kill. Revenant gets taken out, and Twin Blast continues to farm away here. So right now, both of these teams, man, they're going at each other's throat, and this is just, they're going blow for blow.
Taurino being aggressive in this mid lane, pushing, or sorry, not mid lane, this off lane over here, pushing Colombian Gamer under that tower here. Taurino there is a rotation. He's going to get under this tower. They're going to deny him this gold buff. He's going to back because he doesn't have much mana, but he's just been kind of punishing Colombian Gamer here. He's expending a lot more mana to get that punishment out than Quam has to, especially with the changes that have happened on Tuesday or Wednesday to her kit. So she's not going to be able to, be as aggressive or make sure she's able to secure those kills using as much mana as she has been. But again, this duo mid lane, Shane, this is going to be all about this early game aggression out of Arctic Wolves. They have a much stronger early game with their jungler, and they need to be able to continue to play that way.
When it comes to early go, baby, there is about I was going to say Survivor, if he's able to get that full damage obliterate off. Decker actually made a positional mistake. Instead of staying grouped up with the minion wave that was right behind her, she strafed, if you will, shout out to Team Finesse, to the right, and wasn't able to be near the minions. The obliterate got the full amount of damage down. Survivor picked up a kill there. I was going to mention this duo lane mid matchup. I feel like both of them have their strengths and weaknesses, and it's a pretty even matchup. Twin Blast has grenade spam. Obviously, Revenant has the ability for pickoff with Obliterate. But right now, I think Arctic Wolves, Crazy Fool, and Survivor are just simply outplaying Malik. Excuse me, Malik and Hill on the Decker.
Yeah. Mr. Guru over here, Shane. Yeah, I got to give this lane to Bellica. It's the Howitzer. Void Drone. Oh, as I say that, Faded Red rotates up and behind. Are they going to be able to pick this up?
Got the double seismic assault, but Mr. Guru, instead of saying, I'm getting the hell out of here, instead actually stands his ground. Is he looking for a kill to Howitzer? Does Mr. Guru have enough damage on the ultimate? He does! He picks up a kill as Faded Ren swings and gets the kill for himself, but it's just, that was Mr. Guru picking up a 1v2.
I like that play.
That was, when he first made that stun, the double stun, I was like, oh, he's going to run away now. And then he didn't start running away. I'm like, wait, what is he doing? Well, he's just going to, you know, pick up a kill 1v2. No problem. Just another day at work for Mr. Guru.
I do like the aggression there. He's like, you know what? If I'm going to die, you're going to die with me. And that's exactly what he does. He picks up that kill. So well done, Mr. Guru, picking up that kill here. Shane, I'm going to need you to take over for just a second. My replay crashed.
It's not a podcast without Notch's stream dying right there. We see Fatal Barrage standing here looking over the middle lane, maybe looking for an opportunity to drop down and gank. Decker catches it out, and they're starting to make a push here into the mid lane. Thunk missed the opportunity for a kill, quickly went away, but they are still trying to push down this objective. Not enough creep wave for them to actually get it fully damaged and fully taken out. We've seen a lot of priority on taking down mid lane tier 1 towers prior to 10 minutes, and I think in this game, this microcosm of a game, if you will, it's even more paramount for them to do that because it is essentially carry support versus carry support. And for one of the teams to open up a little bit more maneuverability against their respective matchup can really have grand sweeping implications for the Raptor control and for river buff control, which we've seen we've seen green buff invasions thus far, and I won't be surprised if the moment that green buff spawns here for Spectre, we see Arctic Wolves group up again and try to find a pick off around that area. Mid lane, again, they continue to isolate this Decker, and they're just really playing to Revenant's strength, but Faded, they finally have a response for this continued aggression and forward place positioning coming out from Arctic Wolves. Faded rotates over, uses the Colossal Blow and knocks him under the tower, uses the Obliterate, not enough damage. Malik's barely going to be able to get away right there. Survivor recognizing the bad space. There's the double smash and grab. Immediately forces out the Make It Rain, so Howitzer's going to live. He was smashing that R button.
Good job,
the knock off the rocket, beautifully played. Itchy Heartache gives him the heartbreak. As at first, I thought that was an escape, Make It Rain, but he turned what was a means of egress into a kill. Well done by Howitzer. That is not easy to pull off, and he gets it done.
Yeah, so I'm back in the stream. That was a very good play by Itchy Heartache there, using that landmine to knock him back under the Make It Rain and be able to use that Ender of Dreams, the R2000, to pick up that kill there. Early in the initial stage of that fight, Shane, Crazy Fool went on to Decker, and Crazy Fool went into Decker, and Survivor went on to Twin Blast. And when he hit him with the Scar, instead of, I think they ended up actually miscommunication, not targeting the right target, and the damage was split there. But nonetheless, good rotation by Faded Red, knocking Crazy Fool under the tower, picking up Crazy Fool, and that kill on Survivor as well. That is that is a great play coming out of Team Spectre. This mid-game aggression, Shane, we're only 10 minutes into the game. How are we only 10 minutes into the game? There is 6 kills on the side of Team Spectre, 7 kills on the side of Arctic Wolves. This is such a action-packed game. Crazy Fool in trouble here. Columbia Gamer rotates. We're at 10 minutes. The Raptors have spawned.
Yep.
Are they going to make a play here? Fatal wants to, but the rest of the team is like, hey, Crazy Fool just took some damage. We need to back up.
And backup is what they're going to do. They have plenty of wards, them being Arctic Wolves. Actually, a little bit of overlap of wards, but hey, why not have two over there to make sure in case one gets taken out, you still retain vision and reconnaissance of that area. Speaking of which, I said the word reconnaissance and was like, oh, no one's picked Wraith. You want to know why? Because he is not available for play. I know a lot of you guys are probably looking forward to some Wraith play here, but of course, he's relatively new and is not going to be available for picking here. Survivor gets subjugated. He gets knocked up. The grenade damage. One more grenade is going to do it. Fated kill secured from him. Fated Rend on to Twin Blast. And this aggression in the mid lane, you can tell Arctic Wolves really wants to pick up this tower, and Spectre has been almost playing into that. We know that they've been trying to pick up our tower. Let's continue to rotate and try to punish them every time they try to do it, and they continue to do so. Now Crazy Fool is just trying to keep himself alive and be more of a distraction than anything else. And he gets and by 12 Blast, by the way, I meant Revenant, just so you know. It's Survivor is the one on Revenant there, but they pick up two very important kills there. Spectre, they're really putting it up to Arctic Wolves. We said Spectre's an unknown. They're a very enigma of a team, nebulous. And right now, I would say they're doing a damn good job of keeping up with Arctic Wolves, actually taking their most recent fight. Fated goes in, smash and grab onto Itchy Heartache, looking for Fated Rim, but he is going to get picked off. Mr. Guru actually has to use the ultimate to get the kill, but kill this cure nonetheless. Taurino using that inevitable damage coming out from the mark of Moragesh. Secures yet another one, so continuing back and forth. These guys continue to just go haymaker into each other's faces, knocking each other on the ground, but no 10 count. It's too early for a 10 count, Josh, because I know how much you like UFC. And they're going to be okay, and the Raptors, looks like Survivor's going to clean him up and get himself a big boost of resources.
Yeah, so this, like you said, Arctic Wolves really wants this mid lane tower down. You got to give it up to Fated Ren in these rotations to the mid lane. He's seeing the aggression come out, and he's actually being more aggressive than Fatal Barrages on Grux, being able to pick up those kills onto Crazy Fool. I really like Team Spectre and the way they've answered back at this duo mid lane by one, rotating people over here, but Fated Ren also prioritizing this mid lane and prioritizing Crazy Fool to keep him under farmed. So he's not going to be able to get cards online as quick. You're not going to see your Honor the Pure online as fast as you would like to. Quenching Scales is online. But again, they're just being hyper aggressive here. The mid lane tower still stands.
Yep.
And this is going to be, I think, come down to a game of as we get to the 15 to 19 minute mark, do we see these teams rotate off of the mid lane? Do they not put as much pressure on this mid lane? Because if they continue this up, Arctic Wolves is eventually going to lose this because of the aggression coming out of Fated Rend and open up the opportunity for Team Spectre to pick up an Orb Prime.
That tier 1 tower of Spectre has been getting slowly chipped away at. It's the next strong push coming down there. They should be able to pick it up, especially if they're able to get a kill on Decker. They're using a lot, relegated over to Decker. There is a containment fence. And if she decides to use it, level 5 is online. Crazy Fool just now deciding to pull the trigger on the Crash Bang Boom. A little bit too late. A panic decision made after realizing he just was dead to rights. And he gets taken out immediately. Survivor recognizing they do defend the tower. Spectre defends their tier 1 tower. Again, I thought Decker was just going to get taken out right there. It was a beautiful smash and grab. The subjugate from Fated, though. Fated has been doing a wonderful job. He's always showing up right when he needs to show up. He's always landing those subjugates. And if it wasn't for that rotation, if that rotation was a 1/10 of a second slower, that was going to be the death of Decker, the death of their tier 1 tower. But instead, this game really, when you have games like this where there's constant fighting, one small mistake just like that or one small outplay of your opponent will literally be the difference maker of you coming out of a fight ahead or behind.
Now look at Itchy Heartache. He's already positioned himself. Like, come in, come try again. He's going to drop down now because Hill's backing off, so they are going to keep this tower. I mean, it's a tier 1 tower, guys. It's okay to let it fall. We're 15 minutes into the game. It is going to fall at this point. Yes, this
left
does
side of the
open up.
map. Colombian Gamer, the ultimate is used. Candy to get him down. Taurino lives. So very close. The snare from the Hive on Moragesh snared Kwong. That one last tick prevented Kwong from getting an auto attack on to Taurino's Moragesh. Taurino barely able to win that 1v1. I'm surprised Kwong even allowed himself to be put in a situation where Taurino could pick up a solo kill on him. That's just, I think, outright a misstep from Colombian Gamer. Moragesh, to get solo killed by Moragesh, you have to overstay your welcome, and that's precisely what happens. So
it was
Arctic Wolves are Arctic Wolves. It's 10-9. It keeps going back and forth, but as of this moment, they have the kill advantage.
One of the things when we're watching these lanes, Shane, is also looking at the minion count. Taurino had the advantage when it came to minions. His lane was being pushed. So you start attacking that enemy hero, and now you're taking minion damage on top of the damage coming out of, said hero, which Moragesh's damage is nothing to scoff at. She deals quite a bit of damage with Mark and Hive. Mr. Guru is going to fall. Taurino being aggressive onto Twin Blast here, but again, you got to watch those minion waves. If you're going to push into a hero, make sure you have that minion advantage. Yep. And Colombian Gamer just didn't have it. Taurino's still being aggressive. He's got 2 marks out. He's got a Hive. If he has Curse here, he doesn't have Curse. He may actually pay for this.
There is Tainted Magic with the Hive. Itchy tries to knock Taurino into the Make It Rain, but the terrain is not going to allow him to do that, and Taurino is able to escape. Oh, there's the curse! The curse just came up. He got him. Got him, boys, and that's why you still see Morgash being picked up here, man. That's she's a lane bully, and I feel like the moment you put Twin Blast 1v1 against a Morgash at this stage of the game, you're asking for stuff like that to happen.
I feel like you should have just ran at that point. Like, just run. You don't know when the curse is coming. Just head to the the safety of your base.
Survivor's in some trouble as well. He got subjugated up. Crazy Fool dropped down, though. Maybe a little bit of a bait here. Survivor is doing so much damage over to the Decker, forcing Decker out of the situation. The Reckoning has been used, which forces out a not ideal containment fence. The Obliterate, not enough damage to secure the kill. So these guys just continually going at each other. No one gets taken out. A lot of very important ultimates are down. Containment fence offline. Decker's not on the field. Are we going to see Arctic Wolves go try to capitalize on this? Raptors are about to spawn. And I think knowing that Decker does not have containment fence online, I would feel comfortable saying, let's make a push for Raptors. And right now it appears they're starting to ward up, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Got to watch their mana. If we take a look over the side of Arctic Wolf, Survivor, Taurino, and Crazy Fool, all without ultimates. You do have the ultimate online for Mr. Guru and Fatal Barrage. They do have that warded up. Taurino being aggressive against Itchy Hardic. Raptors are being taken here. Make It Rain is going to pop down onto Taurino. They're just trying to get away. Not much value out of that other than living. I mean, the only value comes out of that is just survive. But the chase is there. Landmine is going to knock back Taurino, and he's continuing to be aggressive. Colombian Gamer is here. Are they going to pick up this kill on Taurino? They got to be careful here.
Taurino is just dancing all over the place. They can't seem to latch on to him. He finally gets taken out. He lived for much longer than I think anyone really expected. Still got caught out, but knowing Taurino, he's okay with that. He's a very chill guy. He's probably telling his team, it's all right, my mistake. Just remaining that humble persona that he so well. I love the guy because he's such a nice guy, and I really think we need more people like him inside of our community. Colombian Gamer, though, on this Kwong, I have felt nothing out of him thus far. I haven't felt his presence whatsoever. We're in the mid game, and this is generally where you want to see Kwong start rotating, getting tethers, using that ultimate as a ability to just decimate in the team fight. And he hasn't done that. Mid lane, once again, the action continues. Twin Blast gets isolated. Crazy Fool uses the Crash Bang Boom to great effectiveness. They take down the carry player with Survivor using the Obliterate to secure the kill.
Shane, the reason we haven't seen much coming out of Colombian Gamer is his farm. Taurino's at 5. He's 5-1-3, sitting at 31 card power. Colombian Gamer only sitting at 22 card power right now. This is why we haven't seen him. This is why he hasn't been an impact. He's trying to farm. And at this point, with Taurino with the advantage he has, Colombian Gamer rotating to a fight may just be a detriment. He may not help. He may just come in and just infuse the rest of the team with card power as they pick up a kill here. Again, Arctic Wolves aggressive in the jungle. They were trying to look for that green buff. Did they get it? Yeah, Survivor has it. So Faded Red cleaning up these white camps to make sure that responds here in the next couple of minutes. Raptors are not up for another 2 minutes. Orb Prime is down, but I just don't think they have the ability
Orb
to
Prime
take that right now.
Oh, you mean down?
I mean down like he's fallen from the sky. We're 19 minutes into the
okay, gotcha.
Like he's sitting down on the ground now.
Yeah.
Like, see what I did?
Yes. He
Okay. Like he falls? Like you got it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a fall. It's definitely like a. I wouldn't say it's a fall. Fall implies that he was in space and he tripped and just fell.
Right. So he's more like he's
down.
Shot.
You know what I mean?
He's like shot.
Yeah. There's actually a big space cannon orbiting Agora.
Yeah.
And every 10-minute mark, they shoot him out of a big space cannon. And I just broke into a little bit of a lore drop there for you guys. Sorry about that. I apologize, but at least now you know. There's a space cannon in Agora.
So Orb Prime is still up. We're 19 minutes into this game. We've seen Orb Prime roughly around the 25 to 29 minute mark is where we see Orb Prime picked up or really plays coming, unless you're reborn and then you bait it 4 times in 20 minutes. But most of the time we see between the 25 to 29 minute mark is where we're going to see Orb Prime come into play. Yeah. It's going to come down to looking for a pick. With the card advantage these guys have right now, Taurino, again, aggressive. He's on the hill. Decker here, he's got a mark and a hive out. There's another mark through the wall. Hill is taking a lot of damage. Faded Red also in trouble. Obliterate, Reckoning.
Oh, baby. Yeah, again, Survivor is using Reckoning very quickly in these team fights. Like, we see players like Neosik, who saves it a little bit more, who uses it conservatively. Survivor is just like, there's a person I ult, they die. And it's been working out for him thus far. Orb Prime, you were foreshadowing about it, Notch. Taurino being the tool of the zone. Crazy Fool uses the thunk, but just in the nick of time, the Make It Rain brings him to the sky, and he dodges it. But Taurino is taking a lot of trouble. Not enough trouble, though, as his teammates quickly rotate over. It's, again, this bait and switch. Reborn is doing it, and now Arctic was. They force out a bad response, a poor positioning out of their opponent, and punish it. The containment fence was used as a defense mechanism, but unfortunately, not quite enough, as they do take up a Kwong as well. Colombian Gamer, he shows up to a team fight and doesn't get much done, unfortunately, and that's just because this Orb Prime strategy. It seems like teams are just forcing their opponents, playing their opponents, and eventually someone's got to figure out that, hey, they're not actually going to do the Orb Prime. It's not going to be dead anytime soon. They continue to force teams just like run into the Orb Prime when it's still at like 90% HP.
So the big thing out of that is that Team Spectre is going to not have to worry about them taking the Orb Prime at that moment. They rotate in. Yes, they get killed, but it stops Articles from taking the Orb Prime. Do they have enough time to heal up and get back to the Orb Prime and try and make another play there? But yeah, I wasn't expecting the 20 minutes. They picked up that kill onto Faded Red and instantly rotated over. Was not expecting them to do that. So good play out of Team Spectre coming back and stopping that, because that would have been, I think, the death sentence if they were able to pick up that Orb Prime right there. We're 22 minutes into the game.
Arctic Wolves didn't go into that with the objective of taking the Orb Prime, I don't think, at all. I think that was a, let's force them to come to us and then kill them. I don't know. Maybe they were, but I highly doubt that Arctic Wolves went into that thinking they were going to get the Orb Prime. It was the mindset of, let's force them into a bad spot and continue to punish it.
But if they don't rotate over, you get the Orb Prime. So it's a win-win situation. You know what I mean?
No, like, you commit to that strategy. No. You commit to that strategy. You don't actually take the Orb Prime, even if you can. That's the commitment you need inside of the Paragon Competitive League if you want to go to North Carolina. Inside of the Raptors here, Fatal Barrage initiates very quickly, charges forward. There's no smash and grab. So right now, he's just swinging a mace. He might be up on cooldown soon, but the damage is already done. It was enough to take down Swim Blast, but at the same time, they exchange it. Carry for carry. A common situation inside of team fights. Who was able to come out ahead of this with both of their carries being taken out of the field thus far? And it looks like Spectre are looking to get ahead. Here comes the Make It Rain, though. The Stasis Gem used by Taurino is going to keep him alive, but that means they quickly switch over to Mr. Guru, pick him up. Spectre, they've been, the past recent couple minutes, they haven't been taking very good exchanges. All 5 go down for them, and beautifully done. They finally are able to navigate the terrain to where they can find themselves a favorable team fight and come out of that. Itchy Heartache, man, I gotta say, his howitzer play has been the pivotal key in this game thus far. He has gotten so many kills, and that team fight was really set up beautifully by him, the end stage of that team fight.
Yeah, he rotated in. He picked up a kill onto Survivor. R2000 ends up picking up Survivor. His Make It Rains and the landmines have been on point. Popped out that Stasis Gem. He helps pick up the kill onto Mr. Guru and Taurino there. So really good gameplay coming out of Itchy Heartache. He is 5-4-4 right now, so he got 34 card power. Taurino, Shane, 9-2-5, 42 card power. Survivor right behind him at 41. You take a look at Twin Blast. He's only sitting at 34 card power. Raptors have been going in favor of Arctic Wolves. These engagements have been going in favor of Arctic Wolves. That's the first time Team Spectre is able to do something, but it's an engagement that doesn't favor Team Spectre. Yes, they wiped 5. That's great. All they get out of that is a tier 1 tower. And the fact that Twin Blast didn't survive puts him more behind than he was in the start.
Mr. Guru pulling out some cards we don't see that often, or rather, a card we don't see that often in the quartz blade, a powerful gemstone that helps you align your chakras, gives you a little bit of mana regen and some health there. Ooh, oh, Notch. Notch, I think you're the only person who understands the context of what I just said, but that's okay. You guys don't know the level of deep burn that was just applied to a very specific person. That's okay, though. Nonetheless, I feel like Colombian Gamer still hasn't done that much, man. I hate to harp on it, but again, it comes down, yes, Taurino's constantly pushing in that lane. Even with that team fight they just won, it was like he still showed up and kind of was just there. I'm waiting for a two-man tether. The biggest play he made was tethering the Taurino underneath to make it rain. But I really think if Colombian can step up his game, they can just outright win. But over here inside of the jungle, Crazy Fool is forced to use the Crash Bang Boom. I thought he was going to get taken out quicker than he was. He actually gets the knock up there. Malik finally gets the kill onto the rhythm of the Knight of Narbash. And they are looking pretty good. Narbash stayed alive for so much longer that I think Arctic Wolves were able to take that fight in a situation that they shouldn't have, to be honest. That really was Crazy Fool just getting that full value of Crash Bang Boom and simple follow-up from Arctic Wolves. They invade the green buff once again. You can never underestimate the power of a green buff invasion, even 26 minutes into it.
They invade the green buff, then they posture around the Amber Link and let everybody collapse on top of them and then just pick them apart. And now they're going for the Orb Prime. Crazy Fool is going to be up in 5. Colombian Gamer and Malak are rotating in to try and make this happen.
That's what I'm talking about. Colombian Gamer finally gets something done there. He gets taken out for it. Oh, but I thought Survivor was dead to rights. That was so close. I thought he was going to be able to pick up Survivor there. He shows up to the fight. He gets the tether. That was so close to being a great fight for them. But nonetheless, they still keep them off of the Orb Prime. That play there was to keep them from the Orb Prime. And sure, they gave up a kill right there, but that was the objective. They obtained it, and they're keeping themselves in this game and a moment of stability. Yeah,
big one again, like you said, is no Orb Prime activated. Orb Prime's still alive 26 minutes into this game. That Orb Prime... Do you want to put this on the Survivor as Revenant has 4 shots, then he has to reload before he can take a shot? That's a second with him not dealing damage. So every second, there's a second he's not dealing damage. Does that slow down that progression of picking up the Orb Prime? Is that much of a hindrance? Because I feel like that Orb Prime should have been theirs. Is that because of the carry, or just because there was not enough alive focusing on that Orb Prime?
I mean, absolutely, the Orb Prime is going to take a little bit longer when you have a Revenant as opposed to like a Sparrow, but it shouldn't be that much of a difference. I agree. Maybe there was a little bit of some miscommunication in terms of focusing it down, but there's some good communication right there. No communication necessary for that one. Itchy Heartache gets caught out, and the big playmaker for Spectre off the field for a minute. I mean, 28 minutes into the game, just one single pickoff makes a power play for your opponent, and they're going to go for the Orb Prime once again. It's 5v4, Taurino zoning, but maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself as he was essentially by himself. Could have been caught out, but is able to get away cleanly. Colombian Gamer leading the charge into the Orb Prime pit. Again, they're not waiting for the Orb Prime. It's at 50%, but they're going to go in. Fatal Barrage goes in and isolates Malik. Malik forced to use the blink shot. There's a big ultimate from Colombian Gamer. Survivor forced to use a station ship, but there's no follow-up. That just didn't happen. If there was a howitzer there, if they went into that fight with Itchy Heartache, that would have been massive for them. But unfortunately, the power play granting Arctic Wolves the advantage in that fight. And it looks like they're going to be taking this one decisively here as they knock Colombian Gamer into the sky and shoot him down just as his boots hit the ground. And now Malik, who was first pushed away by Fatal Barrage, comes back to the fight to try to find something. And the only thing he's going to find is his own death. Arctic Wolves come out of that decisively. Still not healthy enough to pick up this Orb Prime. They also did lose Survivor and Crazy Fool in the process. So will they be able to get much done? Not necessarily. They're still going to be happy about that boost of card experience for them.
Yeah, big boost of card experience, and yet again, Taurino coming in and doing what Morrigan should do in cleaning up these engagements.
Itchy Heartache looking for the big play. He gets it again, consistently. He's using that landmine, positioning it perfectly to knock Mr. Guru into the last barrage. That is so hard to do as consistently as Itchy Heartache has done. And just like that, that means there's going to be a 5v4 power play for Spectre now for a period of about 30 seconds. I would love to see them try to do a Prime bait and switch. Raptors are online, sure, Notch, but they're not the biggest priority. Now that we're here, now that people are starting to hit the carries are hitting power spikes, I would love to see an Orb Prime play come out of Spectre. We'll have to see what they're going to do, though. Raptors would still be a little bit of icing on the cake, but they've waited too long. Arctic Wolves are there, and they're going to be picking it up for themselves.
Yeah, these engagements have been so back and forth for Team Spectre and Arctic Wolves. At one moment, it's Team Spectre's on top. The next, Arctic Wolves is on top. Or Arctic Wolves is on top, and Team Spectre comes in and stops a big play, and then they take a couple of engagements. Itchy Heartache picking up that kill. Like you said, it was a power play for about 35 seconds. It does look like Mr. Guru he's now back up and on the map, so this doesn't open up Orb Prime for them. Raptors once again headed over to Survivor. Survivor sitting at 52 card power. He has an 11-point lead. Above Twin Blast here. They've got their Stasis Gems online. So again, Shane, Stasis Gem was changed. It was a 5-cost card changed to a 6-cost card, and they increased the cooldown on it, but it's still such a strong card.
Oh, yeah.
In these team fights, we're actually starting to see people prioritize that over a Blink, which Survivor has both. He has Stasis Gem and Blink Shot because you can build power. You can build power into them. So he's not going to be losing out on a ton of power, and it does give him that ability to get away. Fatal Barrage waiting for that river buff to spawn. Is he going to be able to get away?
There's the containment fence. Here comes the Fury of the Heavens as well. Subjugate to land on Crazy Fool, but they were looking for Fatal Barrage there. If he can charge away, he's not going to be able to. The Soul Siphon, the big hand. What do the 5 fingers say to the face, Notch?
Slap?
Siphon. Okay, that's okay. We'll work on that. We'll rehearse a little bit more in the future. That's okay. But Spectre, they find a kill onto Fatal Barrage. Fatal Barrage has really been the one setting the tempo for Arctic Wolves. And with him off of the field, I wonder if Arctic Wolves are going to have a little bit of trouble navigating the terrain as to what they are to do. Shot calling more than likely on the shoulders here. Whoever the shot calling is on the shoulders of Arctic Wolves. This is a very tense moment for them as they don't have their front line. They don't have the initiation. All boils down to what Spectre is going to do. And it looks like they're not really being... they're being decisive, yes. But I don't think they're being aggressive enough. In fact, it's Arctic Wolves who are the ones being aggressive. They see Kwong is on the other side of the field and immediately rotate into the jungle, trying to fight a pickoff. The pickoff's not going to be there, but Fatal's going to be back on the field for 10 seconds. The power play is come and gone for Spectre, and I really think they need to start getting a little bit more done here, as right now we're at a period of the game where one team fight completely dictates as to who will win and lose this fight. One decisive ace, and your core is going to get taken out here.
Well, that after that engagement, nobody had enough mana. There's 2 big ultimates offline. There's people low on health, so they back up. Yes, we would like to see that aggression out of them, but they get aggressive. They get over aggressive. They, like you said, one team fight, Shane. Over aggressive, they die. Orb Prime gets picked up by Arctic Wolves, and you win the game.
Ooh. Fatal's by himself. I wonder if they can maybe get an opportunity to isolate and pick him off. Not the case at all. It's Itchy Heartache, who's way out of position. He just gets absolutely blown up. Taurino uses the ultimate, uses the curse, and takes him down very quickly. And this is starting to fall apart, rip at the seams for Spectre here. Malik is in pursuit by Fatal and Taurino. He might be able to get away, but I highly doubt it. Fatal blinks forward. A smash and grab is all they need to get this. Is there a mark? Is there anything here? Looks like Fatal actually doesn't have the smash and grab. Hive is thrown. Swing and a miss from Taurino. Malik, there we go. The mark bends around the corner, right around. A little bit of some 360 action coming out from Morigesh, and picks up the kill. They needed to get that kill on Twin Blast. Right lane is pushing against them. They have all their siege-heavy heroes in Survivor, Bellica, as well as Fatal to tank any shots. And looks like they're going to go for the first Tier 2 tower of this match. That's normally you see Tier 2 towers fall much earlier than this, but I think that's just attributed to the fact that these teams are constantly fighting, are constantly going at each other.
Yeah, like you said, it comes down to the fact that we see big plays come out, power plays come out, and instantly the teams rotate, and they deny them. They either deny them or Prime, or they deny them in the major objective. Really comes down to the play coming out of Team Spectre. And
oh man,
Inhibitor should fall here.
This is an overcommitment coming out here from Spectre. They should have let that fall, and then maybe look for a fight. Containment fence is going to be down as well, so even when Decker does get back on the field, they're not going to have that late game team winning, potentially game winning ultimate for Decker for a period of about 30 seconds, maybe even upwards. She is level she does have access to the secondary level ultimate, but still series of misplays coming out from Spectre here, and now they find themselves on the back foot, a pretty significant margin here for Arctic Wolves, both in the tangible metrics of resources and also just momentum and morale. You better believe Arctic Wolves is feeling good right now.
Yep, Taurino at 60, Survivor at 59, Mr. Guru at 57. They've got a card power advantage. They've got the map advantage. They've got the confidence going into each one of these engagements. This is going to be the next team fight. The next engagement, if Arctic Wolf comes out on top, will be the game for Arctic Wolves here. They will be able to take this victory because that inhibitor's opened up and they have access to the core now.
Itchy Hardic has the Shadow Plane buff. Lumen around the jungle, more so just looking for wards to de-ward and gain some control back inside of the jungle. Arctic Wolves has done a very good job thus far of controlling that area. Not all the time, but they always go back to it. They fall back to that invasion. Orb Prime is taken within a moment's notice, and there was no response from Spectre. They just simply
went to Raptor,
know.
Shade. They rotated the Raptors to try and fight a Raptor, fight a Raptor, not realizing they were at Orb Prime.
This is a big power swing here, or rather a even bigger power swing going over to Arctic Wolves. And now Taurino making the BMPs, Big Morgesh plays, and gets a kill onto Decker. Decker is the most important tool that they have at defending this inhibitor push, and she's offline for 30 seconds with the Prime card activated. Arctic Wolves can absolutely just take this game right here, right now. They're playing pretty conservative, though. They're going for the Raptors here.
Just denying it. I mean, they've had to, Itchy Hardic's had to back off and deal with a minion wave. They're just going to pick him up, and I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the reason behind it. Maybe Fatal Barrage, he's behind, so they gave him that card power. But you've got the Orb Prime activated. You've got a power play. You've got Decker down. You've got to go for the throat here, guys.
I agree.
Itchy Hardic was able to push out that minion wave. They're now taking this tier 2 down. This inhibitor should fall pretty quickly.
Here comes Survivor. Or here comes Faded Ren. Survivor knocked under the tower. Stasis Jim used the quenching skills onto the Purity. He blinks away to safety. They had a very small opportunity to kill Survivor, and it is now gone. They were not able to thread it in there and get a kill on a Survivor. Instead, they themselves are getting torn apart by Arctic Wolves. The Prime card just simply seems to be too much. Only Decker is the lone Survivor. No more. All 5 get taken out. And this is going to be game number 1 going over to Arctic Wolves. Notch, what a game! We didn't. By the time we were even done introducing the first team, these guys already had 3 or 4 kills on the board. And I got to say, though, Spectre, they had moments where they could have taken this game. They really pushed Arctic Wolves up against the ropes a couple times, but Arctic Wolves, too resilient, and they're going to get themselves into game number 2 here and try to take a clean sweep.
Yeah, a good aggression early game from Faded Ren. They countered